afternoon, welcome to our Camnet Media News. My name is Amazing Katamanda. Let's take a look at the stories that are making the headlines. Given LUBINDA accused of leading the PF into oblivion. Paramount Chief MPEZENI urges government to provide inclusive development.
The trajectory of the business looks very positive, and it looks like we'll be able to launch the ministry.
She has so much data.
Mom?
Yes, baby?
It says here, global warming and climate change is caused by the pollution from careless activities of human beings.
Wow!
Son, do you know I can turn my phone into a TV remote?
How's that possible?
It's so easy. Check this out.
Be smart, be fast with mega data from Zamtel. Get your 15 GB mobile data for only 100 kwacha, 30 GB mobile data for only 200 kwacha, and your 70 GB LTE data bundle with free Netflix, YouTube, Facebook, and WhatsApp. Visit our Facebook page, website, or service centers countrywide for more information. Zamtel, your digital lifestyle partner.
Thank you for staying with us, and now the news in detail. Patriotic Front National Mobilization Committee member Bizwa Mtale has accused party acting president of sending the party into oblivion. In a statement issued at Camnet News, Mr. Mtale, who played an instrumental role towards the 2021 general elections, says the PF need a better leader to survive after the humiliating loss to the UPND. Mr. Mtale notes that the current Central Committee of the Patriotic Front has been rejected and asked to step down to allow the party rebranding and gain the confidence of the PF members and members of the public, but the acting president has failed to hear the cries of the party members.
I have followed the unfolding events in the Patriotic Front highest organ making decision in our party, which is the member of Central Committee. The decision that have been taken by Honorable Given LUBINDA as the Deputy Acting President, I think I want to be very open, I decline. This has continued and it demonstrated that the party is going nowhere, and it has put the party to be a party that can never be rebranded, not even looking at 2026 can come back. We have to kiss 2026 goodbye, and we can never tolerate this kind of non-performance member of Central Committee that are being imposed at any time as they feel. This needs to change, and this party cannot be accepted operating in this manner.
Former Home Affairs Minister Stephen Kampyongo says former public officials who served in the previous administration are available to answer to any allegations that may be leveled against them. In an interview with Camnet News, Mr. Kampyongo says all they want is to be treated with dignity and not harassment. Mr. Kampyongo charges that the tendency by the law enforcement agencies visiting former public offices holders and harassing them once they leave, they should not be tolerated, as it goes against the rights of the individuals.
Not be subjected to questions from the members of the public. I'm the former Minister of Home Affairs. I don't mind being arrested if I'm found wrong. It would have even been the same sitting in the office as a citizen. If I broke the law, I was to be visited by the law. But what shouldn't be seen is to this perception of saying they can only visit certain people when they are no longer in authority. And how do you act on those people? I'm not just an ordinary citizen. I'm not a superhuman. But when I was privileged to be Minister of Home Affairs, I would die as such. And I have respected my predecessors who had been in that ministry, and I was consulting them from time to time. And so the precedents we set sometimes must be weighed on the scale. Yes, we can humiliate Campion as a human being, but you shouldn't ignore the office that was holding when it was the government. The Minister of Defense as well, very critical ministry, is a human being, not above the law. But when you look at the responsibilities he carried when he was supervising that ministry, you have to weigh the actions you take against them. But like I've said, we are available to answer for any allegations that will be labeled against us, but we just want to be treated with dignity.
Paramount Chief MPEZENI of the Ngoni-speaking people in Eastern Province has called on the United Party for National Development (UPND) administration to ensure that it delivers inclusive, sustainable development to all parts of the country. Speaking at his palace morning Monday, when UPND Secretary General Batuke Imenda visited him, the chief says the advertised vacancies for healthy and education workers are an indication that the country is on the right track to achieving this goal. Meanwhile, UPND Secretary General Batuke Imenda has called on chiefs to work with government in the implementation of empowerment programs under the Constituency Development Fund (CDF).
Chief MPEZENI of the Ngoni-speaking people of Eastern Province says rural areas of the country are in serious need of development as they have been lagging behind for a long time. While other parts of the country have thriving infrastructure such as roads has remained a challenge in these areas, hence hindering many economic activities. Speaking when United Party for National Development UPND Secretary General Batuke Imenda paid a courtesy call on him Monday at his palace, the chief says the UPND should therefore ensure even development. He has applauded the recent advertisements for teachers and health workers, indicating that this is pointing in the right direction.
Especially miners
Meanwhile, UPND Secretary General Mr. Batuke Imenda says the UPND administration will ensure that these calls are answered, beginning with the Constituency Development Fund (CDF).
The king came out clean and said the CDF funds will benefit a lot of people. It will benefit a lot of people because it is managed by the locals themselves. He is mindful of the fact that in the previous regimes, people used to disperse funds all the way from the treasury in Lusaka. But in the new government, President Hakainde Chilema has accorded an opportunity to the people in the rural areas to manage their own funds at a level of the constituency. He also expressed the concerns of the people in a situation where people used to be given money to construct roads.
Officials from the UPND are in Eastern Province for a 6 days working visit. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News.
Itezitezi Member of Parliament Mutita Twambo says women will not meaningfully benefit from the development from, I beg your pardon. Itezitezi Member of Parliament Mutita Twambo says women will not benefit meaningfully from the Constituency Development Fund (CDF) if delivered programs aimed at building capacity are not put in place. In an interview with Camnet News, Mr. Mtinta says many women in his constituency are still having challenges on how to write a business proposal or come up with a viable business idea due to high illiteracy levels.
For many years now, women have lagged behind in economic activities, often taking difficult jobs like stone crushing, which however have a low pay. For women with disabilities, participating in economic activities has nearly been impossible, hence leaving them to depend on handouts. Zambia's 2022 national budget, however, has a provision for women as 20% of the 25.7 million kwacha for each constituency has been reserved for this. Itezitezi Member of Parliament Mr. Mutinta Twambo says with such funds, there is need to ensure that women benefit sustainably by moving away from traditional ventures such as chicken rearing. Some women have been indicating that they will no longer participate in the empowerment funds as they do not know how to write business proposals.
If we're not to feel kwanisha, panfetuale monati, kuikala fya pena ka group, tuana mkutuala kudia, vatulembera nempia shashisha nishafu. Namba twaisa mfuatio, kusenda ama proposal, nomba impia na kwena kudia, kuya mkulipira. Kuya mkusenda ama certificate, kuya mkulipira. So namba group yesi, fenga tuwa bebati, malefu wa efya so, valekana. So namba fituafika na pokwe bati, tuana katuwa file kafi.
The Testage MP has therefore called for capacity to be built in these women.
In this kind of a benefit that we are expecting that the women should get, it should be one which is sustainable. We need to ensure that the gender division gets decentralized more to the constituency level. If you look at the ownership of companies, the companies that are going to get the biggest share of these constructions of schools, construction of hospitals, construction of roads, they are still owned by men.
The Iteji Member of Parliament asked that there is need to educate women on how to handle these funds so that they do not end up in the hands of men.
Because what we want to see at the end of the day, we want to see the women that will have the right information on how to access CDF. We want to see the women that will be able to make applications for CDF that are viable, that are more innovative, that will give them more business, that will give them more profit, and eventually we want to see that CDF changes the lives of these women. How shall CDF change the lives of the women and girls? The women and girls should be in control of these resources. They should make the decisions on how they're going to use the money.
Sustainable Development Goal number 5, to which Zambia subscribes, hopes to achieve gender equality by 2030. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
A family of Lusaka's Mtandavantu area in Kanyama constituency is appealing to well-wishers to assist them pay for their 11-year-old daughter medical bills. In an exclusive interview, Grace Chilanga, mother of child is battling with sickle cell and a stroke, says her child is also experiencing several other frequent health conditions. Ms. Chilanga says doctors at the University Teaching Hospital told her that she needed to pay an amount of 1,000 kwacha for her daughter to undergo a brain surgery, but she has no capacity to raise the resources.
Not in her wildest dreams did 41-year-old Grace Chilanga think her first child would be fighting for her life so early. The distressed mother says that her whole world was shaken when doctors at the University Teaching Hospital told her in June 2021 that her once vibrant and jovial 11-year-old daughter, Ruth Chilanga, was diagnosed with sickle cell. Sickle cells affect the red blood cells that carry oxygen around the body. These cells form into a sickle shape and can block blood vessels, causing agonizing pain and creating a risk of life-threatening complications. Due to prolonged treatment, the condition has led to Ruth having a stroke, a situation that has left her paralyzed.
Matenda mwana wanga namba 2018 twalimpikira kwenda kwa hospital takamunga akarako nkasako kutoka hapo last year mjuni ndepa ndembera manje chipepa na kumpeleka manje kulichechi kutiye kujaba ndo mpima peka twampita na sikoseo na stroke ndepena mugwira manje stroke ati namba 2 ndepena mbwa kumumenya manje kumusirizira tupose manje.
Inside the shanty of Lusaka's Mutandabantu, located in Kanyama constituency, Grace Chilanga, together with her husband, a general worker, survive on repairing bicycles. But looking at the harsh economy, with a big family of 11, sharing this 3-roomed house and caring for their sick daughter seemed to be a challenge, as they also have to spend 10 kwacha every single day to buy diapers apart from buying food.
Dando yanga kuti mawantandizeko chape bantu. Ucheya ndalama twapelebera ogula makwala mwana. Madaipa twapelebera socha pachifunda mpasani koni tumgweko daipa ya mwana sochape. Neto kupeleka ku beat ya blood. So apana tukamkusiza last month asila. kutoka mbatapati nisikose ochape na stroke so chape batulembera mankwala tindana mukagule maduzagwa na chani ndrama.
The worried mother says the family has failed to raise 1,000 kwacha, the amount that was requested at the hospital for her daughter's treatment, and is now turning to the public for assistance.
Pamena mugwira maningi wanatuza kuti mlete 1 pin kutoka mste operation brain. So ndrama inashita bwanji inakanywa kupezeka. Twetu bakamba tawe tubendalama atendani kuliba social fair kwa mina kuja ku hospital kuja ku church. Batutumiza twaenda na peka pepa na dandaula tulipa na poika patia sema mwaikapo 500 olo 250 olo 500 zitabwani seputamikila nipo tumafunati tukawatandiza abo twakaikapo kangono na ipo tuitabwanji tuikapo manje omagamba kuti mwapelewera ndalama. So situnga mtandizeni first msakire ndalama kuti muikirepo na ipo tuzamwikani poni tutamshite chana mwite operation mwana ndiye pe vina kangiwa pamene hapo.
Miriam Kaimba reporting for Camnet TV News.
That item brings us to the end of our media news, but before we go, let's take a look at the stories that made the headlines. Given LUBINDA accused of leading the PF into oblivion. Paramount Chief MPEZENI urges government to provide inclusive development. Thank you for joining us on our Camnet Media News. My name is Amazing Katamanda. Stay blessed.